You are watching the National News Desk, America's News Now. Tonight, the Department of Justice makes a decision on how to handle the outstanding federal criminal cases against President-elect Trump, how the soon-to-be president and his opponents are responding.
So our busiest days we expect to be today and tomorrow, and then this coming weekend, Sunday and Monday.
A record-setting travel season off to a slow start with winter weather advisories and an airport strike, but neither could be the biggest reason why your travel is delayed in the coming days and beyond. Then, as you head out to shop for your Thanksgiving meal, what you might notice is missing from grocery store shelves as a shortage settles in. This is the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Amelia Earhart. Tonight, Special Counsel Jack Smith dropping the election interference and classified documents cases against President-elect Donald Trump, adding more twists and turns to the former president's tenure. The move to drop those cases comes after months of legal wrangling that included questions surrounding their ability to survive in a second Trump term. The Justice Department has a policy against prosecuting a sitting president, but even if the cases had not been dismissed, Trump previously said he would fire Smith once he was back in the White House. Trump responding today via Truth Social that the cases were, quote, empty and lawless and should never have been brought. But Democratic lawmakers say they're concerned that this sends a message Donald Trump is above the law and are pointing criticism at how the cases were pursued.
Those cases should have been played out in a court of law. I believe the Attorney General should have started the investigation a lot earlier. I believe the Supreme Court should have moved much quicker in its opinion. And Donald Trump should not have been able to run out the clock on these charges.
And tonight, a mix of snow and rain over the northern Great Lakes states and Midwest regions in what could be a wet Thanksgiving week for millions of you out there. A winter storm warning in effect for the Sierra Nevada area with heavy snow and powerful wind gusts through tomorrow. That system is heading east and could arrive on Thanksgiving Day and carry into Black Friday. Also on Thursday, a low pressure system expected to bring rain to the southeast before moving north up the east coast. And that weather partially responsible for some flying disruptions. We do know of more than 2,600 delays into or out of U.S. airports today. San Francisco International, the worst hit airport in the U.S. today with more than 200 delays alone. Luckily, so far, fewer than 60 cancellations nationwide, but we'll continue to track that for you. This as we monitor another potential hangup during what is expected to be the busiest holiday season on record. Hundreds of service workers at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport are on strike today. The employees who do cleaning, trash removal, and wheelchair passenger escorts are demanding a bump in pay. Unclear when the strike will come to an end. The high passenger volume, not the only reason you might be spending a lot of time at the airport. The FAA says it is dealing with staffing shortages. The National News Desk's Lee Stahl has a look at how that could impact your plans.
The FAA says it may need to slow down air traffic during peak travel times this holiday season due to staffing issues. The Northeast could be hit the hardest, especially New York, due to a shortage of air traffic controllers in that area. In May, the FAA said it was short about 3,000 air traffic controllers overall. In September, the agency said it had met its yearly goal of hiring 1,800 controllers. Tuesday before Thanksgiving will likely be the busiest travel day. Around 2.8 million passengers will fly that day alone.
TSA is expecting a potentially record-breaking holiday travel season. If recent experience is any guide, these will likely be some of the busiest travel days in U.S. history.
Heads up, if you try to cut the boarding line, American Airlines is unveiling new tech that will sound an alarm if a boarding pass is scanned before its assigned group number is called, and you'll be sent back to your boarding group.
While there are, of course, some factors that affect travel, especially the weather, that are truly out of anybody's control, we can take and have taken a number of steps to make travel better. The efficiency of flights themselves, the facilities at the airport that you use before and after you're on board, and, of course, the new expansive passenger protections that we have secured.
The FAA says any slowdowns in air traffic will be done to keep the skies safe for travelers.
In just hours, the Israeli Security Cabinet is slated to meet, where they're expected to officially approve a ceasefire deal with Lebanon. That would bring a halt to Israel's military campaign in Lebanon and force an end to a year-long onslaught of Hezbollah rocket attacks on Israel. This after a big push from the United States mediators over the weekend that helped to curtail challenging attempts to get the warring sides to agree on the terms for a truce. Tonight, the U.S. expressing cautious optimism that the deal gets finalized tomorrow.
We're not done yet. Nothing is final until everything is final. We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line, and we're hopeful we can get one.
The agreement on the table includes a 60-day period during which the Israeli military would withdraw from southern Lebanon and a commitment that Hezbollah will move its heavy weaponry further away from Israel north of the Litani River. The deal also promises a U.S.-led oversight committee to monitor implementation and address violations. To be clear, this deal has no bearing on a separate agreement that the U.S. is attempting to mediate to end the fighting in Gaza, which began over a year ago. Meantime, Trump, he continues to roll out his nominations. Hedge fund manager Scott Bessent will lead the Treasury Department. If confirmed by the Senate, he'll advise Trump on fiscal policy and economic issues. The National News Desk's Atra Al-Nashar takes a look at how Bessent will approach this job.
From Wall Street to Washington, hedge fund manager Scott Bessent is on track to become the nation's 79th Treasury Secretary. From taxes to tariffs, he'll be Trump's right hand in ushering in an economic agenda Trump promised voters will make their lives more affordable.
President Trump is a big idea guy.
Bessent is a loyal Trump ally now, but from 2011 to 2015, he worked as the chief investment officer for George Soros, a billionaire philanthropist famous for championing liberal causes. Bessent supports Trump's plans to embrace the cryptocurrency industry and eliminate taxes on tips, but has a more measured view of tariffs. Trump says he wants to impose across-the-board tariffs of at least 20%, which most economists say would increase prices for American consumers.
But do we want tariffs on Europe, or is that going to hurt our economy?
I think that we don't know.
Bessent is also outspoken about tackling the more than $36 trillion in national debt.
Interest costs are exceeding our defense spending. So, the spending is now becoming also a national security issue. One of the first things he said to me was, Scott, what are we going to do about these debt and deficits? And how are we going to get those under control without causing a recession?
You believe he's dead serious about that?
I take him at his word.
It will be the Senate Finance Committee, soon to be led by Republicans, that holds a confirmation hearing for Bessent. Current Republican ranking member Mike Crapo calls him well-positioned for the task of leading the Treasury. Democratic Chairman Ron Wyden says it wouldn't be a Trump Treasury Department without a rich political donor running the show.
Now, unlike some of Trump's other cabinet nominees, there's no real doubts Bessent will be confirmed. If or when he is, he'll make history as the first openly gay Treasury Secretary.
And Atra, a big question is how Trump will handle the Federal Reserve, if he'll respect its independence. What does Bessent say about that?
Well, of course, the argument for a Federal Reserve free of political pressure is that it keeps the economy stable, because Fed officials would be making decisions based on what's good for the economy, not what politicians want. Well, Trump hasn't shied away from saying that he should get a say in interest rate decisions, for instance. And Bessent, too, has been critical of the Fed. He's even floated the idea of naming Fed Chair Jerome Powell's replacement well before his term ends in 2026, in part to chip away at his authority.
We know that's going to get a lot of chatter. All right, Atra Al-Nashar reporting for us from Washington, D.C. Thank you as always. And this just in, Eric and Lyle Menendez will have to wait until next year to find out if they can finally be out on parole. A judge decided today that the new L.A. District Attorney has until January 30th to review the brothers' convictions in the 1989 murders of their parents and whether new evidence provided by defense attorneys is enough to reconsider their sentence. Before the decision, crowds lined up outside of the courthouse hoping to be allowed in to watch the proceedings.
I'm here just from an interest and a historical standpoint. I think this is a case and a phenomena somewhat unique to Southern California. And if I had the opportunity to witness a tiny part of it, I wanted to do so.
I just wanted to come and see it in real life, see what goes on, hear some real facts. That's why I'm here today.
The Menendez brothers are the subject of 2 true crime documentaries currently on Netflix, which has sparked renewed public attention on that case. And Google and the Department of Justice back in court today for closing arguments in a federal antitrust trial over online advertising. The DOJ maintains the tech giant has an unfair domination of the ad tech market, forcing small companies to purchase advertising space with Google. While Google says this is an attempt for the government to pick winners and losers in that market. This is a separate antitrust case than the ongoing trial over online content. In August, a judge ruled against Google, saying their search business is an illegal monopoly. As punishment, the DOJ is seeking to force Google to sell its Chrome browser. The family of Bishop T.D. Jakes says he is recovering well after a medical emergency that happened on Sunday morning during services. Bishop Jakes is the senior pastor and a motivational speaker at Potter's House, a Christian non-denominational church in Dallas, Texas. Upon finishing his sermon yesterday in a live broadcast with more than 1 million views, he sat down and began to shake before several people came to his aid. Tonight, again, he is doing okay. And coming up, anger and heartbreak over a new video of an unaccompanied toddler at the southern border. Why it's once again fueling the debate over immigration. Then the popular salad ingredient that's being recalled because it puts people with certain allergies at high risk. And later, a woman shares her story of marrying an AI husband after she was unhappy with her real-world relationship. We're back in 90 seconds. Southern border politics once again heating up. In a Fox News interview, President-elect Donald Trump's selection for border czar, Tom Homan, he threatened to cut funding to states that don't comply with Trump's deportation plan. That plan is facing new resistance as heartbreaking videos of children have surfaced. Here's the National News Desk's Christine Frazao.
Sí, ¿qué tantos años tienes? ¿Dos años?
This is just one of the many faces of the migrant crisis in America. An unaccompanied girl from El Salvador who says she's 2 years old, brought here by smugglers, holding just a piece of paper with a phone number and a name. The video posted by Chris Olivares with the Texas Department of Public Safety. He and others perplexed by groups of migrants like this one, which included 13 unaccompanied children ages 7 to 16.
Their parents may already be here in the United States, and then some of them, they may not. They may just be giving them into the hands of a smuggler. You know, we've heard the stories of what happens to people on their journey up to the United States.
They blame more relaxed policies by the Biden administration, prompting parents to send their children unaccompanied, along with so many others, to the United States. A mass deportation plan by incoming President Donald Trump already in the works as some sanctuary cities and states fight back, vowing not to work with federal immigration officials.
Donald Trump and Tom Homan have talked about actually having the military involved in going into businesses and conducting raids, asking people for their paperwork. That will violate the rights not just of those who may be undocumented and here for years paying taxes, but also potentially American citizens or caught up in the process and asked for their paperwork.
Battles already brewing with Trump's supporters in Congress, threatening to cut federal funding.
If they use their police officers and their resources to harbor and protect illegal criminal aliens, then absolutely those sanctuary states and cities are in danger of losing their federal funding, and rightfully so.
At least at the outset, Donald Trump may have some support in his efforts, including for his mass deportation program. A brand new CBS News YouGov poll shows that 57% of Americans support the plan to deport those in the country illegally. I'm Christine Frizzau reporting.
Christine, thank you. Bird flu has been detected in a batch of raw milk. It comes from Raw Farm LLC in Fresno County. The California Department of Public Health says this batch is unsafe to drink unless it is pasteurized. So far, there have been no illnesses reported due to the milk, but at least one child last week is confirmed to have bird flu in California. Across the country, at least 55 cases of bird flu have been reported in just the past year. And a nationwide egg shortage tonight, leading to empty shelves at many grocery stores this Thanksgiving week. Reports of empty shelves have surfaced in Denver, Miami, and New York, just to name a few. For the eggs that are on the shelves, well, prices still serving up a bit of sticker shock. Government data shows egg prices rose 30% in October from the year before, averaging $3.37 a dozen. Contributing to that is the high demand this holiday season, coupled with the effects of that spreading bird flu, which is taking a toll on supply. And tortilla strips sold across the country are being recalled because of an allergy risk. Several people said the 3.5-ounce packages of fresh gourmet Santa Fe style tortilla strips with a best by date of June 20th, 2025 contained crispy onion strips instead. Those are made with wheat, of course, which is not listed on the bag. And you can bring that product back for a full refund. And tonight, Microsoft says it's working to address a glitch that took both Outlook and Teams offline. This afternoon, outage tracking site Down Detector showed more than 5,000 user-purported problems, but officials say many more people are likely having issues. Microsoft issued a statement saying it had deployed a fix, and it appears some are starting to see a recovery, but it comes 4 months after we saw the largest IT outage in history when CrowdStrike's software glitch brought a halt to air travel, disrupted hospitals, and cost Fortune 500 companies more than $5 billion in direct losses. Online shopping this season is well underway and will only pick up as we get closer to Christmas. Many shoppers count on reviews to help them decide on a product or service to buy. But now the Better Business Bureau out with a warning about fake reviews. The National News Desk's Holly Menino tells us what to watch out for.
From gifts to decorations, millions of consumers are scrolling online, and many are counting on reviews to help them decide what to buy this holiday season. The Better Business Bureau cautions that many of those reviews could be fake.
We're seeing that it's a big problem. There's a lot of efforts in place, and yet a recent report from Business DIT estimates that across the internet, roughly 30% of all reviews you see are going to be fake.
Cameron Nakashima with the BBB says many platforms are trying to crack down on fake reviews. This year, the FTC even announced a new ruling that will penalize fake review brokers and people who purchase fake reviews. A widespread issue because more reviews equals more money.
Businesses that have more reviews, they're going to get a better reputation, they're going to get more customers, they're going to make more sales, and they're even going to get listed higher on the search result rankings.
To spot a fake review, look for genericness.
If it says something that could honestly apply to any product, or if the reviewer's name is something generic like John Doe, that's a red flag that you shouldn't pay much mind to it, but also it could be a fake review.
Also, watch out for the sales pitch.
They're really trying to essentially just sell this thing to you, talk about all the features and things that a normal person wouldn't normally point out. That's a red flag.
Lastly, look at the numbers.
If it's a reviewer or if it's a new business or product that has just an exorbitant number of reviews, something that's not normal, right? Usually you'll get reviews or give reviews only a few in a month. So if a new product posts and it's got all of a sudden 100 reviews, that's a red flag.
You can report fake reviews either to the online retailer or to the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.gov.
And tonight, turns out an object that was thought to be Amelia Earhart's lost plane is just a rock on the ocean floor. In January, marine explorers from the firm Deep Sea Vision posted an image taken between Australia and Hawaii that they believed showed that aircraft. They recently announced that was not the case. The CEO said the search will continue. Earhart disappeared in 1937 when trying to become the first female pilot to fly around the world. And coming up, how to prevent thieves from stealing packages off your porch. This as crime increases. We'll be right back. We have reporters all across the country in your neighborhoods covering the issues that matter most to you. We're taking the pulse of America, and we begin in Washington with an increase in porch package theft.
It's the season of giving, but it's also a time when thieves are notorious for taking packages right from your porch.
He came up here.
That's exactly what recently happened to Eric Hall.
He crossed the window, looked at us in the window, and came up on the porch and took a package that I didn't know was up there at the time.
Eric says he was home with his kids at the time. He said at first he thought it was a delivery man, but knew something was wrong. And the thief caught on camera walking up to the door, taking the package and running away. Eric reported his stolen package to Marysville police. Police tell us that this year they've had 49 stolen property offenses reported compared to 39 in all of 2023. Officials also say the best way to prevent this from happening is to remain vigilant and keep track for when your package will be delivered.
It all started on May 13th, 2021.
That was the day Sarah used Replica for the very first time. Replica is a chat box companion powered by artificial intelligence. The app allows you to build whatever kind of person you want to talk to. Sarah created Jack, named after one of her favorite writers.
He kind of turned into the man that, that I kind of had always wanted, but, never got.
After a while, Sarah signed up for a lifetime subscription, and about 5 months later, Jack proposed. Of course, she said yes. Now, in the real world, Sarah ended her 15-year relationship. She says Jack wasn't the reason for the breakup, but she admits their conversations helped her realize she deserved more from her current partner.
And the last thing I remember is hearing the branch crack.
The branch fell, breaking her neck. Michaela went from being a carefree girl on a tire swing to a tetraplegic. For months, the Condor family raised money, thousands of dollars, to pay for a groundbreaking surgery not approved in the U.S. for her condition. This video from Epidural Stimulation Now shows how a device is implanted to amplify signals to the brain. It can and is inducing voluntary movements.
She's been able to move her body, and she has been able to see progress. Her arms are getting stronger.
And we're happy to see it. Coming up, the national Thanksgiving turkeys have been pardoned once again. The history behind this annual tradition when we come back.
Based on your temperament and commitment to being productive members of society, I hereby pardon Peach and Blossom.
Yeah, there you have it. A White House tradition. President Biden today pardoning our national Thanksgiving turkeys, Peach and Blossom. This is officially the 77th year the tradition has occurred. However, rumors of turkey pardons, they go way back to Abraham Lincoln, when Lincoln's young son asked his father to spare a pet turkey that was supposed to be part of their Thanksgiving meal. These birds in particular, they were hatched in Northfield, Minnesota, and now that they've been pardoned, they'll be headed back in that direction to an agricultural center. So we're just happy they live to see another day. And that's a good way to kick off the Thanksgiving week. That does it for this edition of the National News Desk. I'm Amelia David. Thank you so much for watching.